Hello guys, I want to do a video talking about my Linux adventure which started maybe a day or two ago and is here today. Basically, I had this laptop. I'll show you the laptop. It's my Thinkpad laptop. T420, awesome. I love it. It was really cool. I love my Thinkpad laptop, but I had this Windows 7 on it, and I actually bought the Windows 7. Like I bought it on eBay, and yeah, a Windows copy of Windows 7, and when I installed it, it was working fine, but then eventually it just said this copy of Windows is not genuine, and then it had like a thing, you've got to activate it, and eventually it came up with this little text in the bottom of my screen, bottom of my screen said this copy of Windows is not genuine, and then it wouldn't let me have a background. Every time I put a background image on the screen, which I like to do, it would make a black page, and I was like, I can't live like this. Like, and I was like, that's really, damn it. And I was like, then I was thinking to myself, oh, so now do I have to buy Windows 7, and Microsoft has discontinued with Windows 7, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I still can, I'm happy to buy it, but they don't even sell Windows 7. They don't sell Windows 8 anymore officially, so I'd have to buy it on eBay. And that laptop, it's not supported in Windows 10 by the drivers. Like, you can get it working properly, but it's not officially supported. And I was like, oh, that sounds like, just doesn't feel right. Like, to buy Windows 10 would, I'm not sure how it is, how much it is, but maybe $200, or I'm just guessing it, something like that. I'm thinking, I don't know if I want to do that. And then in my mind I was thinking, what other options do I have? And then the thought that came to me was like, there's an operating system that I've heard about for a long time called Linux, because some of my friends, like Vu, he's a programmer, IT guy, and when he was in uni and stuff, you know how when you're around IT people, they tell you things, and I heard about Linux, how it's free, and like people who program are really into it, they love it, how it's open source, and it's like, I don't know, I really just heard that they were really passionate about Linux and they liked it, but for me I was like, I didn't know what it was and like how to use it, and like would it be able to play my games, because that's the main thing I would need it for. But I just feel like, because that was like 10-15 years ago, and now by this time I think I just feel that Linux has probably come a long way in making it more user friendly, because I've learned to think something about Linux. It's an operating system. If you don't know, it's like how there's Microsoft Windows, Mac OS, and so this is Linux. It's like a free one that people can just program themselves, and it's open source, so they can tinker with it and stuff. And it's free. So, and there's, what I've learned is there's different distributions of it. So they call them distros. So different, like, I don't know how to explain it, but basically different people have programmed their own version of it and like released it so that you could download that version. And it's like, and then there's that's a long history. Basically, the one that I went with is Linux Mint. I just like the name, first of all, like Linux Mint. It sounded really cool. And like I was reading about people, and they said that was a kind of a very easy one for noobs or new people to get into, because it's kind of similar to Windows. It's not too crazy different, and so I thought that's a good one to start with. So I I decided, like, I just had this idea bubbling away that I wanted to do this, and I did a post on Facebook, or I think on Facebook. I just said I feel like getting rid of Windows 7 and trying out Linux, and then a few of my friends would chat to me about it. Like, it's funny how, like, when you post on Facebook, like, people who are interested in that thing, they'll just gravitate towards it. So I had Adam and Ken both posting about it and giving me advice and things like that, saying, yeah, you should definitely try Linux. I recommend it. And Ken was saying you should try Ubuntu. It's like very user friendly. And then I told him the Linux Mint is based off Ubuntu. Ubuntu. I don't know how to pronounce it, but he said, oh yeah, if it's based on Ubuntu, it'll be fine then. And so I did it. I downloaded the file from Linux Mint, and then I installed it onto a USB stick, which I have here. This is the one that I used. And it was funny because last night, I got home at roughly around 12 o'clock, because I was out at my friend's house, and I got home and I still really wanted to do it, so I just said, oh, I'll just like install it and then see what happens. But then what happened was, like, I installed it, and it was fine. The installation is beautiful, it went fine, but I kept getting this thing where when I restarted my computer, my ThinkPad, like no, not when I pounded on from zero. Like if I turned it off, turned it on, fine. But when I had the computer on and I did the restart option, it would go straight into this boot agent thing and not load up properly, and it was really bugging me. I was like, what's wrong with this? Why wouldn't it work properly? Like, it's crazy. It's not, but it's not a problem with Linux at all. It was due to the fact that my laptop, there's like some issues with certain like drivers and hard drives and things, so it's completely separate to Linux. It wasn't Linux's fault at all, but I was tinkering around with it all night last night for hours. Just, how when you just want to try different things and go, is it gonna work? Am I doing it wrong? Should I? And then in the end I was like, I'll try Ubuntu, see if that's any different. And then when I downloaded Ubuntu onto this one and installed it, it's very similar to Linux Mint. I could see how Linux Mint is based off Ubuntu. The install was very similar, but then I found Ubuntu probably you could get the hang of like the OS if once you give it a go, like Mac OS, because I can use Mac OS as well, but it's very different in a way to do things. Whereas Linux Mint, it kind of feels a little bit like Windows, which is kind of easy for my brain to wrap around in these early stages, I think. So the whole night I couldn't get it working properly. Like, it would install and do things, but I was like, I can't have an operating system if every time I restart it, it will just like stop. Like, I can't do it. And so then I was like, okay, just relax. Like, because you know how when you're in this mode of like trying to fix something, you're like, oh, you're just like a bit frazzled. So I was a little bit like that last night. But in the morning I woke up and just thought to myself, you know what? This is just fun. Like, I've still got a beautiful laptop. It's like, we'll get it going. And even if it keeps if I can't restart it, I still could use it probably. So long as I can use it, I could live with it maybe. And in my brain I was thinking, how can I fix this? And I was Googling a lot of stuff as well. Like, every question that I had with Linux Mint, I would type Linux Mint and then type the question into Google, and then there will be someone talking about it on the Linux Mint forums, and thank you, and there'd be people like helping them out and giving them things to do about this and that. But the problem is, because everyone's got different computers and different setups, it's very tricky to get the answer that you need specifically. So I had to like zero in on like the Lenovo ThinkPad laptops and stuff, and what I ended up figuring out was I had to learn all these things as well. Like, hard drives, they used to be IDE, or let's call it IDE or ATA, and then there was the SATA ones, which was like the newer version of the hard drives. Like, it's the way of the hard drives talk to the computer. And let's say I've got a SATA hard drive, but blah 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 blah. Basically, what I did was I made the SATA hard drive IDE, which instead of AHCI, it's now into IDE, or was it what's the word for it? Not legacy, but compatible version. That's a little bit technical, but basically, because I didn't really mind, because I think there's a speed decrease and stuff if you change it to like the IDE version, but it's fine with me. I don't really need super speed for what I need to do with that laptop. So I just did that, and then it worked. I was like, oh, nice, I can do this. It was like, I mean, I could have figured out another way, maybe like somehow get certain drivers or fiddle around with it, but no, I got it working, and it's really like, I probably would not notice like a 0.1001 of a second difference in like load time or something like that. I probably wouldn't notice it. But anyways, so I got that, and once that was working, because this is when I came home today, after work today, and I was like, had this list of things that I would like to have set up on my laptop, like be able to reboot it, blah blah blah, have what programs I wanted on it, and I had this list on my phone, and I went through them all, and I did them all. It was really cool. So what I did then was, once it stopped rebooting all the time, I then installed the programs that I wanted. So I installed this TLP battery thing, which basically looks after your battery and things like that. Oh wait, I'll continue this later. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, my sister and her husband just came over for dinner, but it won't be on for a minute, so I can talk a little bit more. So let's see. What was I saying? I was installing. So I installed, like, I got my Google Chrome, my YouTube links, and I made a shortcut onto the desktop, and then the shortcut looked really ugly, so I worked out how to change the icon to an emote. I picked like a cool guy glasses emote with sunglasses and stuff like that. And also my printer, I wanted to be able to print stuff, so it was a little bit tricky because like I did it the default way, and it wouldn't print. My brother printer wouldn't print, and so I went to YouTube, and this guy had such a great video. It was like 10-minute long, but he went through all the steps of, and it involved the terminal and things like that, going to the brother website and doing these certain steps, and I followed it and it worked. I'll show you the printout page. Oh my gosh. Oh, so proud. I've never been so proud of, like, happy that a computer printed out something. So I did everything. I got my icons on the taskbar. It's so neat and it's so cool. I'll just quickly get to it now. And I put my background on that I wanted. I already had this background on my old, when I was my Windows 7. So, I've got to type in my password. Whoop. Okay, so yeah, there it is. Oh, it's so pretty. So it looks just like, almost pretty much the same as when I was using Windows to the naked eye, but it involved some work, like, to get it just how I wanted it. It's so nice. I'm so happy. And the thing is, that's just the start. Like, it's all set up really nice. I can watch my Netflix and Anime Lab and stuff, but also it's like, if I want to go further, I can tinker around with a little bit if I want to. And I want to check out some themes. I think there's different themes you can do with Linux Mint. So I'll check out that and get something cool. I don't know, but even just the default one's pretty nice. It's kind of slick, kind of cool. And so yeah, I think I'll end the video just there. But basically, before 2 or 3 days ago, Linux was just this mystery to me, like unknown, like unsure, and like Windows was safe and like known, but not perfect. Like yeah, and it's free. Like, and it's doing everything I wanted. Because I really don't play that many games on it, but I will probably install good old games and Steam on it and maybe play a little bit, because I already have my desktop computer for games. But anyways, I'll end it there. But I just want to say I love Linux. The fact that it's free, there's all these people helping people out in this community. I think it's gonna get even more user friendly, maybe, because I think, like, because I used to use MS-DOS, so I knew a little bit about programming, like typing commands and stuff, like changing directories and stuff. So it kind of made sense to me, but I think it would throw a lot of people off that they had to do that kind of stuff, but maybe that's how Linux is. I think it's pretty user-friendly with this Linux Mint anyways. So I don't know. It's really cool. I'm really liking it so much so far, and I'm really glad I went into the unknown. So yeah, that's all I want to say. I'm really happy. It was fun. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed listening to this, and I'll see you later. Bye.